Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a excellent weekend out there. We got some stuff to talk about. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We got plenty of ProveX stuff. We got plenty to ProveX, plenty to MrProve. I don't know. I still don't know which one it's going to be, but it sounds like ProveX so far, unless we get a game time decision by the El Capitan, the captain of the PulseChain, Mr. Richard Hart. Anyways, hope you're all doing great out there. Get your questions in. I'll probably go for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or so. It's going to be action-packed. You may just literally learn a lot this one. I try to not be a scumbag and try to not waste your time. And it should be pretty informative, though. So get your questions in. Get your, let me turn comments on. Here we go. There we go. And I'll get to the first, get to chat in just a minute. So everyone, I don't even know where to really start. Let me just pull up the tweet and I'll have that up there for now. I'll go through, let me recap. Let me do a recap for everyone who hasn't watched the other ones yet. Let's start there. Let's start with a recap. God. All right. I say we'll start with a recap, and then Richard just tweeted something funny. So we'll start with this. Time to read comments. Oh, pretty. I just turned my comments back on, so yeah, I hope to see some nice comments and yeah, fun stuff. Anyways, let's start from the beginning. Let's go. I'll do a 5-minute brief. Let's go to the beginning. Yeah, the introduction to this. Oh, no. I guess this was the beginning. Yeah, there we go. 24 hours. All right, give me a sec. All right. In the beginning, there was this tweet from Richard Hart. Beginning of MrProve / ProveX. I heard a new project is launching details within 24 hours. I'm excited to be ready. That's why I think this thing's done. I'll just say that. Let me get your, let me get some excitement already. I think it's done. I think it's just going to be a staged kind of release thing. I think it's done. I mean, what else has been going on for the last 3 years, right? Like what? I think so. I think it's done. Not that there have been a little upgrades here and there and, other stuff too, but I'm like, there's been plenty of time. I don't think the inception of this idea happened 2 weeks ago. So, does that mean it launches tomorrow? No. Like, does it mean it launches in 2 more weeks? I have no idea, but we'll get into sacrifice phase. We'll get into how long that'll last, what kind of coins, all this stuff too. But we had this. So then we start guessing, right? All this different stuff. I guess, I talked about Super App a lot before. It wasn't that. Hopefully that'll happen in the future though too. That'd be pretty cool. And then another first. I've never seen Richard talk about money for motivating people to just guess what it is, right? Drumming up excitement, all that fun stuff. And then we get the details around 24 hours later. MrProve token. MrProve token. So 2 critical things in this. MrProve token is the token. You have private prover is the tech. And we'll get into, the other stuff, the explanation stuff soon. But the other part is the 3 main things to take away from this, besides what it actually is sacrifice. I have a feeling MrProve coin will be given away for free to a sacrifice set. So another sacrifice. All right. So what is this thing though? You can talk about the potential. He's got a whole bunch of stuff listed here too of what can be used for. But what is it? Like to me, and I'll pull this tweet. I just did this, I got AI to do like a mock-up here. So give you a visual. Maybe that'll be good too. So again, I have no idea what it's going to look like. This is just kind of a mock-up of, it's going to be, the other important part of this was browser extension. So kind of like what format it'll come in. So it says it somewhere here. Yeah, browser extension. MrProve replaces exchanges using private proof or tech. Buyers and sellers install browser extension with issues proofs. Buyers prove they paid a seller for the bank or fintech. Sellers prove they sent the coins to the buyer's wallet. Sellers get money. Buyers get coins. Goodbye, middleman. Hello, coin burning. That's pretty good pitch statement right there on its own. But so this is something, a couple of these, if you could just imagine what it would look like. So browser extension, imagine just like MetaMask. You install MetaMask, you install your favorite wallet, you install like whatever. And you have this, this kind of looks like an app part too. So you could imagine mobile version, imagine browser version. This is browser extension, what's been talked about. And it just lets you do kind of like this, what I'm thinking, again, we don't have all the details, but when it's been described so far, it sounds like this peer-to-peer marketplace type thing where, I mean, essentially it functions, it may feel like a centralized exchange. It may function, the end result may be the same, but the behind the hood or under the hood, it's different. So I think it sounds like there's some like buyer seller stuff. You got to match people with trades and all that stuff too. I think a lot of that will be like worked out in the UI and there'll be some, who knows, like maybe in the first release, it'll be a little bit of friction here and there. Then it'll just get easier, kind of like PulseX. Or the first version of PulseX was very, very MVP, bare bones. And there's a whole bunch of stuff after that. I could imagine something like that. So yeah. Again, maybe there's just a couple buttons like I want to buy. Okay, so let's see who's selling. I want to sell. Let's see who's buying. And then the buyer. Let's go back to the post. So just to make sure. So buyers prove they paid the seller. So the buyers send the money to the seller, and the sellers prove they sent the coins to the wallets. Which is, I mean, both sound pretty. I think that is the magic between, because you can do both with this. Private proof or tech is what replaces the middleman, replaces the exchange type stuff where they hold the keys, they have all the power, and this is a very decentralized version of it. A lot of people have talked about the privacy aspect and what it actually means. It's pretty interesting because Richard talked about too in the thread after that. Let's see, did he add it here? One of these. So there's been a contest for guessing what it is. There's been a contest for the logo, and then there was like a name change too, and then another contest for the logo. There's been like 2 or 3 contests. So he is like, you want Richard to interact with the community. Boy, he's been interacting lately. So this was like, which name pumps harder? Like, yeah, ProveX. As far as mass appeal, I know a lot of people still like MrProve. I like MrProve, but it's like, is it about what I like, or is it about what I think will do the best? ProveX sounds like a household name, right? MrProve. I mean, you got Mr. Clean, you got sure there's some other ones, but ProveX sounds like a company. It sounds like, and I don't think I talk about it too, like, oh, people will mix it up with other coins and mix it up with PulseX and stuff too, which yeah, maybe, but also, I mean, people used to mix up PulseChain and PulseX all the time too. They'd be like, oh, which one's PulseX? Like, I sacrificed for one of them. I don't even know. So even though the name's pretty similar, I don't know. I don't think that's would it be nice if they were totally unique names that had nothing to do with each other and they just could stand on their own? I think there's pros and cons of each. So will people get confused with Hex? Oh, do I have ProveX or Hex, or do I have PulseX, or I don't know. I think the ROI on having a mass appeal name is probably more than whatever confusion comes. So maybe not, but we'll see how important it is. And some other ways to think about, yeah, decentralized OTC marketplace, casual. This is guessing what it was. It looks like, yeah, casual proof of history, zero knowledge proof of delivery. And then, so it went from, okay, it sounds like it's going to be ProveX, because did he say ProveX after that? Well, even if he didn't, oh yeah, I guess, does that mean it's officially to ProveX now? Because Richard started using ProveX from then on, I guess. And then we came up with the PulseX, and then yeah, Showgate's got it. So although I still, I didn't even know the logo changed, because I think it was like an hour between I tweeted and it actually changed. I didn't even look and see that it had changed yet officially. So this thumbnail is still the original one, which I like the original. Yeah, I got to say, I like the original. Where's the original? Yeah, that's a pretty cool logo. I like that. I like that. But if it's going to be ProveX, then yeah, that one looks more like a ProveX logo. So pretty good, pretty good. So lots of, man, things definitely feel different in the ecosystem. They feel different with Richard, at least. And I think that if you didn't like the things, the silent treatment, I want to say the disengagement from Richard before, it's got to be a good thing. It's got to be a little bullish from the engagement now. All right, so let me get to, got a few different pieces to talk about, but I know, you guys probably have some questions too, so I'll get to them. Angry Beaver, how's it going? Welcome. One question, which tokens will be accepted for the sacrifice? Again, we're just speculating. I haven't seen anything official on this. I've actually looked at, people keep saying, I keep seeing a lot of people talk about only letting RH coins for a sacrifice. I'm trying to think of a downside of that, because I get, if you want to fund stuff, if you think the sacrifice is going to be, I guess we didn't know, and we still don't know exactly, what would happen from a sacrifice until it happened. So with PulseChain and PulseX, we didn't know what was going to happen with any of the tokens. I guess, of course, it's an easy guess to be like, okay, the hex is not going to be sold type of deal. It's just going to be, I pretty much consider the probability of it being locked or burned or whatever to be very high. Again, why would, if you believe it is Richard, then why would a founder ever sell those coins? Why would he sell all the other coins has much more of and dump the price? So I think that I'm trying to think the downside of, because the first time, it could be for, okay, we need to pay for stuff, right? Whatever it is, pay for infrastructure, pay for marketing, pay for whatever. But now, I don't know. I don't know what the downside would be from requiring, or from like only RH coins, because you would have, so if it was only RH, if it was only Hex and PLS, PLSX and Inc, or just PLS and PLSX, like even just in Hex, or I don't know. Yeah, you could say, okay, some massive buying pressure. And people talked about that too. Look what happened in the last sacrifice, like stuff like that. So it could be more buying pressure on ecosystem tokens, because unless you want to sacrifice what you have, you got to buy more and then sacrifice it with money. So that could be cool. And again, y'all should watch. There's so much great content on this. Like, people are really been coming up with some interesting stuff on it. I'll share before I go on to the other ones, let me just share the Jexa video. I thought that was really good. If you haven't watched this, it's well worth 12 minutes. Let's see. Yeah. Go check this out. Jexa did a video on, it's called 12 Minutes of Cope, where he talks about the sacrifices and this whole, like, what I took away was kind of like this virtual, you could describe it like this virtuous cycle of locking up more wealth and locking up more stuff over time, more funds and things over time to keep compounding it over multiple cycles and stuff. So yeah, just a multi-cycle wealth creation system. Could be interesting there. So yeah, check that out. I think that's part of it. Yeah, like what is the buying pressure? Again, rewards people talk about doing it based on the T-share, based on all these things. Again, I feel like that's a good story, and that's, of course, I think that's a nice way of doing it, but I don't know if it's the most advantageous way, because is the goal to reward hexagons, or is the goal to get as many people in as possible to grow the ecosystem, to grow the community, to make sure PulseChain sticks around because we have the best builders, because we attract the most people, because we have, and then from that, of course, compounding price and all these things. I think it's that. I think that's, of course, rewarding hexagons is great, but I just don't think for Richard it's a priority to be like, I want to reward hexagons, I want to reward T-share holders and stuff. I think he wants to just keep growing and give people reasons to come to the community and contribute and stuff. So we'll see. I think just and of course, so the buying pressure, and the other part is just being those coins. Again, if you believe they're never going to be sold and stuff, it's just kind of like you're burning coins. Like, kind of like, oh, there's just less supply now taken off. So that could be factored in. Could be fundamental too. We haven't seen that play out with PulseChain and with Hex from the PulseChain and PulseX sacrifice, or have we? Would it went down even harder? Had all the other Hex not been locked up? We'll see. Or it's hard to say. I think maybe the FOMO part of it too. If you're only going to be able to get those coins, and what if there's not a lot in the market to get? I mean, who knows? Is this the first pump metal we're going to see? Is this the first rally we're going to see is from the sacrifice? If you only can sacrifice core tokens, that's going to not only incentivize buying, but also take even more supply off the market of already thin liquidity situation. Bullish. Again, this is just like if that actually happens. Again, the transfer value, the virtual cycle type thing that Jexa talked about in the video. I think it's pretty interesting. Like, how do you keep transporting value? He talked about transporting value forward. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting theory. I hope that's the theory. It's like, it makes sense. Like, it is a theory. Like, it is like, what some people believe, at least. I think it's believable. I'll go with that. Do I believe it? Probably the most compelling theory. I want to believe it too, right? And then, yeah, I think that's at least some of the few. And we'll see if an OA locking entity comes in and sacks a bunch too and gets a bunch of supply. I wonder, like, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out compared to Pulse. That's the cool thing. We already had a couple sacrifices, so if there's any lessons to be learned of how to do it better, I think that'll be likely included. But what is the downside? Like, what is the downside other than? I guess I really just think it's the assumption. I think the biggest thing is if you don't need the funding, if you don't plan on doing anything with the non-core coins, which it is it's hard to say. It's kind of like, we don't know what's going to happen with the SAC funds. It could be nothing. The ones, the $1 billion or so, whatever the ETH turned out to be. 600 million, billion, like whatever it is, we don't know. But if they do go back to something that pumps the ecosystem, wouldn't more of it be better? You can make that argument. On the other side is like, isn't that enough? And then now it's just about kind of removing supply, removing the sell pressure. Goodbye, sell pressure. And incentivizing buy pressure. Hello, buy pressure. Like that kind of thing. So I could see that. Yeah, I don't know what the downside is. If there isn't any more, if accumulating all that fresh dollars that wasn't Hex, that wasn't sold Hex, everything else that got sold for DAI, and then then ETH, and then Tornado cash out. So we have no idea, and hit the privacy button, and whatever happens, I hope it benefits the ecosystem, but I have no expectations. Maybe that's done. Like, maybe that's enough. Or it's just not a priority. So if only a little bit comes in. Well, I guess if you just say own core coins only, then none of it can come in technically. That's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know what's the downside? What's the downside to having open to every coin, open to USDC, open to ETH, open to everything that it was before? What is the downside? Or sorry, what is the upside in opening it, doing it just like the PulseChain sacrifice, just like PulseX sacrifice, open to pretty much any coin that had liquidity or whatever the rule was, versus doing core coins only? I think the only one I can figure that I did some research on is like it for new people, it creates friction. Like they have to buy something first and then they have to buy the core coins. It's kind of like, how big a difference would that make in the participation rate? I don't know. Does that actually make a difference? Would that make less people participate because they have to buy those coins first? And is that different now that we have easy ways to buy things? That we have all the community built services and all the stuff like that. Is it easier now? Like, would it be different if a year or two ago versus today? Maybe it's like make PulseChain, Hex, and PulseX and Ink and all this stuff really easy to buy now. So if there is a core coins only sacrifice, it's easy to buy them. You make the buy pressure easy to come in, and you reduce the sell pressure by locking up, burning the coins or whatever. So yeah, I don't see a lot of upside. I don't see a lot of reason to not do core coins only. I'd love to hear it. Like, I want to know, but let me scroll down, see if anything in the chat. You guys talking about that? Hexbore 13, downside of cores only is that they won't be sold, so no money raised. I think they'll be the same as PulseX would be per price. They won't be sold. So yeah, I think that's the main thing is like, but if you don't need to raise any money, and it's like need is subjective, right? It's like, we don't know what the money would be used for. So we don't know if there's a need or not. Obviously I would believe there's not a need that you need to pay a bunch of bills from the new infrastructure. Like it's not like I don't think everyone's broke. I don't think Richard's broke but I don't know, maybe there is some like very conservative way of doing it where it's like, I know only money goes towards, I don't know. But as far as, so I don't think that's a problem, but I think it'll be the same as PulseX, pretty good price. Yeah, PulseX, there's plenty of posts talking about how they were good for price. I just don't know. Yeah, it could be the same as it could be the same as before. I could see it too. I could see it. Why not? And you could still sack. Like, I mean, does it really matter if it's core coins? I mean, I guess the only okay. So let's think about it like this. Why would you want it to be core coins only? Because that's like the only reason it matters. Core coins only matters is because you would want more buy pressure on your core coins. Like that's what it would, that would be the reason, right? So I guess it doesn't matter as much. I mean, yeah, core coins only, I'm like, yeah, let's go. But if it's not, yeah. Maybe R is doing a sack for this just to get attention marketing idea. Must not touch subject. Yeah. I don't know. I did a post on this about sacrifice. Let me bring it up real quick just to hit on a point. I'm going to go back to the top of the chat in a minute, but let me just... Yeah, so sacrifice isn't necessary because somebody needs more money. Think deeper. Even though it'd be a nice story to give ProveX to hardcore hex in the previous sacrifice and so on, people dump airdrops. So this is my point for it. People dump airdrops. It's about making a statement and aligning a set of people to value something because they paid for it. So I guess this is the point of why it wouldn't be an airdrop, versus sacrifice. Because if it's just an airdrop, where are the fundamentals? Like I can see the fundamentals in sacrifice of like, well, at least actually I say that. I'm like, yeah, that could, if it was core coins only, or whether it's core coins only or not, whatever, it still could create some buy pressure. Core coins only obviously may create more buy pressure, but it's almost like a negative. It's almost like it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill climb to do fundamentals for an airdrop. Because why wouldn't you sell it? Because you got it for free. If you pay money for it, you're like, okay, I'm anchored at this value. It's like everyone talking about sack price. I'm anchored at this value. I don't want to sell below this value or I know I'll lose money. There's no anchor for airdrop. You can sell it at any price. You're not going to lose money, right? So that's why I think, yeah, the new sacrifice set will be new people who didn't sacrifice for PulseChain, PulseX, and believers in Richard Harden's future and his true intentions in game theory. Yeah, so anyways, I guess that's the airdrop point. And the attention, yeah, I mean, gosh, why not? The guy's no short of confident, I'll say that. I like my founders confident, already rich, and aligned for glory. Sounds pretty good. All right, we might stop. Just want to get some perspective on that. Not gonna lie, pretty disappointed with RH's logo decision. Also, Showcase doesn't have a great potential community. I don't know. I think, yeah. Aside from shit, not to comment on any community. I think I've had plenty of good interactions with Shield, but it's putting anyone in the community, just generally speaking, like nobody's ever going to be perfect. Like I'm not perfect. Everyone, like I try really hard to, again, like just be honest and be optimistic. And like, again, I do a lot of things like no monetization to make everything easier as far as it's actually hard to not, it creates another thing. Like it makes it easier to not, get misaligned incentives and stuff like that. But it also is like, there's so many opportunities to take money and do things and all this. And it's just makes it like a kind of a interesting deal there. But anyways, regardless of that, I guess my point is in general, I'm not even talking about Showcase here, just in general, like have some compassion. I hope everyone has compassion, has kind of a, don't have a lot of expectations out of people in the community because, everybody's different. But with the logo decision, I'm not pretty disappointed with Arch's logo decision. I don't know. I don't think it, again, I think the first logo was cool. Second logo is fine. I don't know. I feel like these things are just kind of like, to me, they're just not, I don't think too much about it. I don't think overall, like they're going to make a huge difference, like what the logo is. It's like the logo, it's not the reason people buy it unless it's a meme coin or JPEG or something, I guess. So I think it'll be fine. How's it going, Acid Thunder? Welcome. Yeah, and it's this whole, I guess the people, if you're upset or not interested in sacrifice or anything, I think the framing of just like, man, I'm getting kicked while I'm down, and this guy should have already pumped the ecosystem, and the PulseChains had the worst performing asset ever, and like all this stuff, and then he's going to do another sacrifice to take more money from me. I think that framing is just kind of, it's already, if I had that framing, it would already talk me out of sacrifice. I mean, I'm not doing sacrifice because of that. I never planned to do another sacrifice. I didn't think there would be. I said before, I thought sacrifice was for a particular place and time and for that thing, and to get, whatever the millions and billions of dollars are going to go to, like whatever that is. I didn't see it happening again, but it did. And I'm like, my first reaction was like, oh, sacrifice. Like, how's this gonna, like, I'm literally trying to be like, there's got to be some strategy for this. And then I'm kind of just like, well, again, I don't have all the details. I tend to defer to our genius billionaire founder guy. He's pretty smart. So, who am I to be like, yeah, dumb idea. Even if it is, again, I'm not saying he's always right, but it's like me thinking I know better, or my first reaction is going to be like my personal feelings that have to do mostly with myself, my localized feelings. I have to really kind of zoom out and be like, what's good for the ecosystem? What's good to onboard the most amount of people, not just what's good for my bags and stuff too. So I didn't ask for another sacrifice. I didn't want one, but if it's going to happen, Let's go. Like, why would that be the straw that breaks the camel's back? For like, not for me, at least. Maybe again, if that's the last straw for you all, again, best of luck. Hope you make mad gains, whatever you do. I wish everyone the best. I'm just like, yeah. I got through the PP phase, you know. What's the most cringe things? I'll only say outrage marketing was kind of like, but like the PP thing was probably, and then just the berating us in the comments of that was like, come on, like, why, what is this for? What is this for? But whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, again, I agree with Richard on most things. I don't need to agree with him on all things. And I don't have all the data. So I gotta assume that the person with the most data is gonna make the most data, the most control, you know, all that stuff is gonna make the best decisions they can. Somebody says copyright and should not be able to use it. Yeah. I don't think it'll be exact. I don't think any of the images will be exact. I just see that as, oh, that's, close to what we're looking for. I'm sure Richard is going to have somebody at the PulseChain HQ. There's going to be somebody probably hiring a professional artist to make something that looks pretty close, but like within all the bounds and all the good stuff. How's it going, UFO to go? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Person like the logo, just miss green candles. I'm with you, Australians too. Let's get those green candles. Let's go. Let's go. Can I get a konnichiwa off green candles? Let's go. Konnichiwa! One day. Insulting to have another sack given how the priest ones are looking. I think that's a common sentiment, Fox Modder. I get it. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was talking about. I get it, but I don't know. I just think there's something a little bit. I think there's more. I don't think Richard's doing it to insult everyone. I think he's doing it to be like, this is the best way to go forward. So if I believe that, then I'm okay not understanding each move. But again, everyone, I don't blame you. If you're like, nope, I ain't doing it. If you do not sacrifice, I do not blame you. I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys are dumb for not sacrificing. I may believe it is, I believe for myself, it would be advantageous to sacrifice. And yeah, like, why not? I think about it, why not? Instead of, what is the framing? It's like the rich dad, poor dad framing. Instead of saying, what is it? I can't, is that what it is? I can't do, instead of saying like, I can't do something, I can't sacrifice or something. Not saying that in particular you, Fox Modder, just in general, like the whole sentiment of, oh, not another sacrifice. It's like going from I can't sacrifice to how can I sacrifice type of mindset. Shout out to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A lot of people like him. A lot of people don't like him. I think he's got some interesting ideas. Ashley B. PulseChain. 3 nice top hats. How's it going? Let's go. Rapid unbox. Let's go. I'm sacking $0. It reminds me of like during the PulseChain, PulseX sack, weren't there like a bunch of basically no liquidity tokens sacked? That wasn't Richard like, we'll give you as much as we can or something. I don't remember. But if they're worth anything, we'll give you a little bit. I'm sure he sent like everyone. I'm sure the rollout was like, anyone who ever sent anything to that address, at least send them 1,000 pulse or something. It's like fractions of a penny or something. But Tobias Mark, what's the points of ProveX? That's a great question. The point is to replace middlemen, disrupt the centralized exchange industry, to give people a frictionless. Did I talk about this? Yeah, let me pull up that post. Yeah, I got a post on this. I got a post. Oh, was it on this one? Yeah, this one. All right, give me just a second. Oh, got me talking a lot today, everyone. So I'll put this in chat in case you all haven't seen it. But I think it covers the point and more. MrProve could be revolutionary. Still early, and I'm sure we have more details coming, but here's what I think makes sense so far. Uniswap replaces a centralized exchange for swapping crypto to crypto. MrProve replaces centralized exchange for swapping fiat to crypto. Onboarding is already becoming more like send this app some money instead of use the bridge thanks to community building solutions. And now we have even more options coming. Excuse me. It may look like a centralized exchange or a P2P marketplace with low fees, something like this. Install browser extension, select which coin you want to buy, send money from Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, all that stuff, receive the coins you want in your wallet. Its tokenomics are incredible too. Imagine every time you get an Uber, you got to buy and burn Uber stock. I think it's pretty interesting analogy. Me and AI riffing on this stuff. If you're not using AI to give yourself superpowers for research and just kind of going back and forth under teaching you, learning, getting questions, doing man. Oh, I did all the AI conversations. Nobody, I feel like, don't get enough attention. But there's a lot of cool stuff. No inflation token only gets more scarce. Privacy is a right. It lets you move money in crypto without additional KYC and preserve privacy on the blockchain. This is the big part about people are like, oh, it's not. I'm not sure. So this is one thing I'm not sure about is the privacy part. What I understand so far is, and Richard talked about this. Actually, let me pull that up because he talked about it in detail. Well, let me go over this one first. Wouldn't it be cool if your favorite coin had direct fiat on-ramp with no middleman? Wouldn't it be cool if you wanted to sell, money nearly instantly appeared in your bank account? Wouldn't it be cool if you didn't have to beg exchange to list your coins? Wouldn't it be cool if you didn't ever have to log in exchange again? Crypto was invented to replace middlemen, remove middlemen. Exchanges are middlemen. MrProve with private prover can solve this and much more. So let's see, where did he put the reply? Did he put it on here? Where it's like the mixers thing, where he's like, it's not a mixer. I need to go to replies. Wish this was X would present this to me. If something is super popular, I want to see it. Konnichiwa. Interesting. Almost there. I should just search mixer, shouldn't I? Is it part of this one? No. Should have just picked mixer. Should have searched mixer. Okay. This one. Put this. All right. Looks like I'm going an hour today. I got probably plenty of questions in there too. I get to as many as I can, but I got to cut it off in like 20 minutes. So it ain't no mixer. The seller knows the address of the buyer because he sends the coins there. He knows the amount. Okay, so the seller knows the address of the buyer. Okay, so as far as privacy goes, this is I think the privacy part is there is no, on the blockchain, you can't see the transaction. You can't see where it's going. But the seller knows the address of the buyer. So it's still kind of, it's just the buyer. The buyer is not like your address. Again, if you have an anonymous address and stuff, they just know the address. They just know an address of the person they're sending coins to because that person sent it to them. The buyer knows the bank account of the seller. So whoever's selling the coins, the buyer knows the bank account of the seller. So there's no emanating price between the two of them either. It's the buyer's bank account and seller's wallet. So the only private is the only private in the private prover is the fact that you can prove things without showing them. You can prove you paid. Okay. So the buyer knows bank account of the seller. When I hear bank account of the seller, it just sounds like, the way I was thinking about this would be because the buyer is sending the money. So he's sending the money directly to the seller. So bank account, to me, bank account is just, I think that could be like a Venmo address or a Zelle address or something. I don't think it's actually like bank account. Like I think when people read that, and they may be like, oh, that's like when you sign up for a wire on some centralized exchange, you gotta give them all the information, bank account, all that stuff. I don't think it's that. I think this is and it could be even like a privacy way of doing that. Doesn't ZK-P2P do something like this? Kind of, maybe I'll do some research to that. Yeah, let me do some research on this as well to get some clarification. But I think this could be just like an address that links to a bank account of the seller. So I'm not sure how much actually private information. I think maybe it sounds like there's private information being exchanged, but I think it's really just addresses. One address is the wallet address to receive the coins, and the other address is like a email address or some kind of special number or some kind of special username or something, ID that links to a bank account. I don't think it's actually bank. I won't think that would be the final implementation. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm reading, and that would make a lot more sense. So that's the privacy part. So hopefully, does that make sense? You guys have any questions on that? Just a second. All right, gonna go down a little bit farther. Prove CX, PulseX, ProveX, roof hex. All right, we're just rhyming today. Let's go. Sorry, I can't get to all the questions and all the comments, but max proof. I like that. I will sack for my harassment, no more sacks. Yeah, what was I knew it was a sacrifice because at first I thought it would be an airdrop too of the sacrifice set. But then I saw a new statement. It was like, is it on here? It was like, so it's all part of this thread, huh? Is that not where it's there? Huh. Anyways, it was the right to remove middlemen or something like that. Is it going to have its own stablecoin? I don't think so. I think it's just going to be like you're going to be buying the core tickers, I would imagine. If it's an RH project, it'd be something like that. It'll be like, well, let's go back to the mock-up. This is just, again, just for fun. You click on buying crypto and it's like, all right, would you like to buy PLS? And it'll be, okay, how much would you like to buy? And then it'll kind of like do all this. It'll see all the orders, all the people offering it. And it'll be like, okay, I can sell you at least this much for this, for this average price, like something like that, I could imagine. And then with selling, it'll be like, cool, how much do you want to sell? And it's like, and then you gotta wait, right? I think there's this waiting period. That's what the P2P thing is. It's kind of, you create this, list of people buying, list of people selling. Yeah, I don't know. Would you call that order book here? Would you create the decentralized, decentralized order book? something like that. And then when it matches orders, it does the private proof thing, and then the coins get sent and people get paid. That's the way I'm imagining it. How do you all think it's going to work? I don't know about stablecoin. Who knows this? If there could be a lot of stuff coming up. Again, super app. I'll talk about, hopefully we'll get a PulseChain, like some kind of super app. Could be a new stablecoin. Could be a centralized exchange. Actually, does that rule out buying the centralized exchange, or do you think it's still going to happen in the future? Are we getting the museum? That's the important question. Where's the Hex Diamond NFT? I want to buy a fraction of that. All right. Sorry, Cam, just kind of scrolling here for a second. Happy Sunday, Hexagon Contractor. How's it going? Papa PP Face Survivor right here. Yep, I'm with you. Is Kenichiwa 2 ends? Yes. Oh, did he respond to you on that? Okay, gotcha. Over 90% of the Hex supply is staked or off the market. If he decides to use Hex for sacrifice, that would just make it more insane. Really bullish on Hex. Oh, I like the Hex token. I hope it does another 10,000x or two. So if I'm correct, the fees will be high on Prove. That's why PulseX will be an interaction. Didn't he say like a 1% fee or something like that? And that don't the fees go to? I was going to say the fee. Don't the fees go to? I don't know if they go to no expectations address or not. Maybe that too, but don't they go to buying and burning the token? Why would PulseX still be a better option? PulseX is the crypto to crypto though. So the DEXs and so. DEX would be crypto to crypto. And then this would be crypto to fiat or fiat to crypto. Again, all this is just based on my understanding. Like I read information, I do analysis, I riff with my boy AI. I go through all the public information, all the people talking about it, and like trying to figure out what makes sense. Doesn't apps like Wise, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal sitting over the iris anyways? How crazy is this? Actually, funny, yeah. Again, this isn't an anonymous way to transfer money. It's a privacy. I think the privacy part is proving that you can do the transaction and have this like frictionless transaction piece. Like and maybe there's some privacy stuff in there or whatever. Again, it's not a mixer. It's not, the buyer and seller can still see the information. I don't know about the blockchain part of it. Maybe that's more private or less private. I'm not sure yet. But this is not replacing, there is no way to replace, I talked about before too. If you're going to do KYC, if you're going to put limits or restrictions, all this stuff, the place where it makes the most sense, if, again, reason in a world where we have things like that, right, is on the on-ramps, off-ramps, right? So that's where things can be verified, all that stuff. Everything in the middle, DeFi and stuff, leave that alone. Like that's the spirit of DeFi, right? Like leave all this stuff alone, permissionless, all that stuff. If you want to KYC, the on-ramps, off-ramps, whatever, again, there's plenty of arguments against KYC. I get it. But like that's where they would be. So this isn't some way of anonymous way of like transferring money. This isn't a mixer. This isn't some like privacy coin. This isn't like all that. This is a way to make buying without middlemen, and there maybe some privacy aspect to it. Like I want to read the thing again. I want to see, like, did he talk about? Let's see. The only private, why'd you do that? Okay. The only private in the private prover is the fact that you can prove things without showing the things. Okay. So maybe there is this maybe there's this privacy part. Maybe the blockchain can't see the transaction. They can just see that it happened, but they can't see the data about it happening. Maybe that's it. So the privacy isn't privacy in the mixing sense or in that anonymity sense. People seeing the money from bringing others. Yeah. So anyways, maybe we'll get some more. I'm sure we'll get more information, but this is the initial details from the few posts and people speculating all that stuff so far. How's it going, Crypto Crusades? Doing good, doing good. Krita Crypto, 3 rocket ships. How's it going, guys? Guys, where are the users going to come from? We can barely get people over PulseChain. Well, again, I think this is like an onboarding thing. We got the mega marketing happening. We got lots of community products that are making onboarding easier. Hyperlane, Liberty Swap, Gibbs Finance, you have all these things. The websites have got a huge facelift. Richard's super engaging with the community and outside the community now. And hopefully there'll be some favorable macro stuff coming up at some point, hopefully. And I'd love to see all that come together. So where the user is going to come from when they start APing the rest of crypto, or we show them, or PulseChain, it's PulseChain season, and there's something so compelling that they just, they start coming to PulseChain versus other chains because of it's a place to make money, right? If we show them, if we prove to them that it's a place where they can take their dollars and make more dollars, where they have the opportunity to do that, then I think that'll help attract a lot of people. We haven't seen that for a very long time. Hex did 10,000. You can tell these things we did before, built this whole community over. But yeah, we I don't know. I'll know it when I see it. But I think we got a lot of cool stuff already. As Richard says, we have everything we need. Just need people to know about it. So hopefully the marketing keeps going burr. All right. I think that's most of what I had to talk about. Is anyone confused? You still don't know what this is, what it's trying to do? I don't have much more. Oh, here's a good one. Somebody, Just Mike Memes. Just Mike Memes makes a lot of great ones. What's this? If you want to see it. Jacked Richard. Let's go. Live stream. Next live stream. Boom. I don't think he'd be taking a shirt off next live stream, but he had a 3-minute workout. So there's that. And again, PSA from the Fast Abdul. There's no new tokens launched by Richard Hart out there. Any of them that say they're ProveX or have logos or whatever, they are not the ProveX Richard Hart talked about. There's nothing launched. We don't know when it will be launched, but we hope in 2 more weeks or less. That'd be cool. So don't get scammed. Maybe tokens that are memes or whatever. Participate them at your own risk. Know what you're doing. All that stuff. Try not to lose all your money. Try to hang in there for mad gains. Hopefully make plenty of money, but I think there's certain games riskier than others. So put this last one up here too. From T-Hex. T-Hex 5555, is that right? Talk about this for a minute before we wrap up. Max, I'm interested in your opinion. What if RH started launching more great projects on PulseChain and all sacrifices always had to be made with RH core coins? Wouldn't this be a better way to promote our PulseChain ecosystem and pump the price of our core tokens rather than continue spending millions in traditional forms of marketing? This would also make marketing a lot easier and more fun for Hexkins because we would always be promoting a new and cutting edge project that will soon or has recently been added to PulseChain. This kind of marketing strategy makes a ton of sense to me, unless, of course, it's something obvious I haven't considered. So the idea is to, what if I started launching more, just kept launching projects that all had sacrifices that had to be made with the core coins? Would this be a better way to promote PulseChain ecosystem? I don't know. I think there's pros and cons. I think traditional forms of marketing, again, proven, they work, all this stuff. If we kept having sacrifices, I don't know. Like how many I don't know. This is like an argument for more sacrifice, which is interesting. I mean, it does create buzz. It does create what is the sales thing of it creates like, not FOMO. Well, the FOMO, it's kind of related to FOMO. It's need to take action type of thing. I don't know. I always think the sacrifice phases are for a reason. That's why I didn't know if there would be another one. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have a great answer with that, actually. I don't know. Chat, what do you think? Got anything? I don't know. I mean, I think the bigger, maybe the traditional marketing reaches more people. So maybe there's an argument to make that easier for onboarding, where sacrifices are kind of, they can reach people because they say, oh, here's an opportunity to do, sacrifice thing and put your money and hope you make some more. But traditional marketing, I don't know, I think can reach a lot of people who aren't in crypto already. Maybe there's an argument for that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Good question. Good question. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully this was helpful. I think I'll do this. Maybe this will be the last one. Last bank. I have a feeling PulseChain will start to moon run after MrProve sacrifice starts. Won't explain the details. Be ready. I wouldn't be surprised. If, who knows? There's more projects. There's MrProve sacrifice for that. Who knows if there's another project after that, whether that's sacrifice or not. I've talked about this so much lately about one thing after another keeps happening that is really interesting, and you could interpret it as bullish. All kinds of things have been very different in the ecosystem the last few months. So is this kind of a staircase? We just keep stepping up, getting more and more and more until we start hitting green candles and start doing a moon run and all the different bullish, optimistic things you can think of that could happen. MrProve could help happen too. I'd like to believe that. That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. So I don't know. I'm positive. I'm optimistic. Was it people talking about Hex did all the X's? Let's see this one. If you weren't around for the Hex times, Hex did a 30 to 40x when PulseChain sacrifice phase kicked off. Looks like Pulse and PulseX just need a solid reason to pump. And that reason is MrProve. It's become a richer marketing signature. Only results speak for themselves, but I approve. We'll see. 30, 40x. Could be good. Could be good. And all right, leave you with this one. Oops. Pretty cool. Hexico, 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 Hexico. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, everyone. That is all I got for you today. What do you guys want to go out on? Something fun? Something fun? Let's do Crypto King. Let's get pumped up. That's all I got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
already reading fast. Gifted school couldn't hold him back. Special program, logic and code. Humble roots, but a genius mode. Dad fixed AC, delivered the news. Taught him to hustle, never to lose. Car stereo business, teenage dreams. Online platforms, building schemes. AC company, adult store too. Browser optimization, revenue flew. 60 million yearly, success so sweet. Semi-retired, but never complete. Reddit showed them Bitcoin's like blockchain future burning bright. Who is Richard Hart? He's taking control. Hex and PulseChain, that's how he rolls. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Crypto revolution, he's the composer. Who is Richard Hart? The king of the scene. Building tomorrow with blockchain dream. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Digital freedom, he's the bulldozer. First blockchain CD, Hex was born. High returns while others were torn. PulseChain launch, eco-friendly way. PulseX exchange, a brand new day. 27 million for research and health. Longevity research benefited from his wealth. Inspired the millions to break their chains. Financial freedom, healthy gains. Fighting scams with all his might. Protecting users, shining light. And Satan came knocking at his door, but he fought back and won the war. Who is Richard Hart? He's taking control. Hey, Hex and Pulse, crypto revolution, he's the composer. Who is Richard Hart? The king of the scene, building tomorrow with blockchain dream. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Digital freedom, he's the bulldozer. Red notice came from Interpol's call. Finished claims, trying to make them fall. Tax fraud allegations, assault they say, but the system's broken. Games they play, business rivals using legal schemes. Crushing innovators, killing dreams. If haters wanted to get me down, they'd raise more than my 27 million crowns. Diamonds worth millions, watches and cars. DC allegations reach for the stars, but he denied it all. Stood his ground, blockchain freedom, that's what he found. Won in court, they didn't appeal. Justice served, victory real. Ecosystem vision, wallet and all. Independent blockchain standing tall. Bitcoin and Ethereum left behind. Community value, peace of mind. Richard Hart, he's taking control. Revolutionary leader, that's his role. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Second crypto wave, he's the composer. Who is Richard Hart? Controversial king, sparking debates. Freedom he brings. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Crypto's future, he's the takeover. Pivotal figure in digital space. Influential leader, setting the pace. Building community, advocacy strong. Richard Hart's story, the crypto song. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Don't look at me, I'm